everybody, my name is Mitchell McIntyre.
And I'm Vanessa Vogel.
And welcome to Binging with Badness, the only podcast that's atmosphere consists of 8% cinnamon. Welcome back. We took a day off because watching 4 of these in a row is bad for your health. But
consuming none of them will kill you, so we have to.
That's true. Now we have to watch a little bit every day.
Yes.
Or else we die.
We die. Do you want to die? No.
Not in particular, no.
So we have to watch.
But yeah, so this is our 4th and final one for the first week. Which means we are 10% done. Mm-hmm. As there are 40 of these sumbitches. Mm-hmm. 30 of these, 46 of these sumbitches now.
Is there?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Because we did 4.
Oh.
But yeah, so that's where we're at now. And honestly, this one's probably the most middle of the road.
Yeah. I feel like this is the new baseline.
Yeah, this is the 5. Because it's... I again, we don't want to spoil too many of our thoughts right away, but it's alright. I didn't like it as much as the last 2.
Chateau Christmas really is truly something.
I guess Chateau Christmas is our baby. So far, so good. But yeah, and this one, like I said, it was okay. It had its moments. It might have been the most cliched.
Nah.
You don't think?
Yeah.
Which one?
The last
you think the last one?
Yeah.
This had a lot more...
What was the one before it called?
Shucks. This is Delivered by Christmas.
Oh, Christmas Tree Lane.
Christmas Tree Lane. And then before that one was Chateau Christmas and the Jingle Bell Bride.
Yeah.
So this was the first one that was an obvious... tug at the heartstrings. Mm-hmm. And we'll explain it when we get there. But I expected more of these movies to be like this one.
Yes.
And I have a feeling more of them are coming.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of commercials for next week on Hallmark Mystery and Movie for Holly and Ivy.
They really want us to cry about Holly and Ivy.
I was going to say, and that one's all about the big C, the crocodile that kills their mother.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. It was cancer. I think.
Oh.
It's a terminal disease, and that's usually cancer.
And then the 12 Dates of Christmas, or whatever it's called?
12 Dates of Christmas.
Yes.
I think.
Now, do they mean, like, hey, you want to get coffee? Or, like, we just move Christmas around 12 times?
Hard to say. That one's November 8th. There's a couple more coming. There's 4 more coming next week. Mm-hmm. What is today? Today's Thursday.
Yeah. So,
we'll see you again on Saturday. Mm-hmm. But to get there, we got to get through here.
Mm-hmm. Who's in this thing?
Okay, so this one is Delivered by Christmas. Molly meets Josh, a widower who recently moved to town with his young son. At the same time, she is charmed by a mysterious client of her bakery whom she never meets in person and doesn't realize that they are one in the same. This movie stars, I never got how to pronounce his name, Ian Bradley? Or Ion Bradley? E-I-O-N?
I'm sure we could Google it, and there's probably, like, a sound clip somewhere.
I'm sure.
We heard it, like, 15 times on the commercial, and...
I skipped the commercials. I gotta stop skipping the commercials, I guess.
You have to stop skipping the Hallmark commercials. The Crest ones and the Snackables, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
But...
Anyway, this guy has been in some stuff.
Yeah.
Probably next to the lady from Christmas Tree Lane. He's probably the most celebrated actor we have so far, as he was Pinocchio in Once Upon a Time. He was in the movie Fight Club. He was in Band of Brothers. He was Almost Famous. Mm-hmm. He was in a couple episodes of ER, Ray Donovan, and he is in the upcoming remake of Stephen King's The Stand, which I've seen commercials for.
Oh.
Why are they remaking The Stand?
We've run out of ideas.
Do you know what The Stand is about?
Not even a little bit.
It's a pandemic story.
Oh, because it's a pandemic.
Because that's what we fucking need right now.
I know. That's why they're putting 28 Days Later on a fucking DVD right now. So
It was like remember when like clowns started showing up and scaring people? And like the next year we had Stephen King's It remake?
Yep.
Stop it. I know you're trying to get that sweet pandemic money, but for God's sakes.
Just sell hand sanitizer like the rest of us.
I'm sure it'll be great, though. I don't know. Your dad loves Stephen King. Do you think he'll watch it?
Yeah.
I think so, too.
I think he'll go there opening day wearing a mask.
Oh, no, it's a television show.
Oh, better. He'll watch it at midnight, and then he'll wake us up to tell. He'll wake us up and be like, hey, it was okay.
Hey, psst, hey. It's all right.
The graphics kind of sucked. Okay, good night.
And this is his second Hallmark Christmas movie. The first one was Switched for Christmas.
Oh.
That brings us to Alvina August. Mm-hmm. And this is her first Hallmark Christmas movie.
She did well.
But it is not her first Christmas movie. Because she was in Noelle on Disney Plus last year.
Who was she in Noelle?
I did not get the character name, but we saw that movie.
We did! Anna Kendrick plays an excitable
Santa's daughter.
Santa's daughter. She majored in calligraphy and minored in glitter glue, and she is like the Santa. Like, is it time that I get to watch Noelle again?
I was gonna say it too is pretty good. I imagine by November.
So can I watch it like immediately after Halloween? Is that
sure?
Okay.
One of my big worries is that doing this Hallmark Christmas movie-a-thon, we're going to have less time for the actual Christmas movies we want to watch.
Oh, nonsense. We'll always find time.
You think?
We have to watch Arthur Christmas, Noelle, Others.
Third example.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I love it.
The Man Who Invented Christmas.
That's a good one, too.
Find a way to get the Charlie Brown Christmas specials.
I will...
My mother has Apple TV, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
There's a lot of rage in that, and that's a different podcast.
Yeah, it's this podcast now. If you guys don't know, Apple has the broadcast rights to the Charlie Brown holiday specials, which is fine. But for the first time in 50 plus years, they're not on cable TV. They're not on ABC, CBS, NBC. This is the sole reason I have fucking cable. And they're not, for the first time, you have to get Apple TV to watch this. I'm not getting no Apple TV. I thought about it, I really did. But I'm not getting Apple TV.
I'm telling you, we know someone who has Apple TV.
I'm sure we do, but it's the principle of the thing.
Oh yeah, no, the principle sucks.
For fuck. I mean, at least we still have Frosty, and at least we still have Rudolph. But, like, for now...
Yeah.
Who knows what the future's gonna hold? I don't know why, but this is the last straw. Fuck 2020.
This is the last straw?
I can draw the line at racism.
You can forgive racism?
You can forgive racism? Anyway, sorry, I'm still mad. I learned about that like 2 weeks ago, and I've been pissed off ever since. And
so, guys, boycott Apple, I guess.
Yeah.
The moral of the story, I guess.
Or if you have an Apple password that you're not using and you want to give it to us.
Or if you have a DVD copy of the Charlie Brown Christmas special.
You know what? I'm going to go on Amazon. Right after this, I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to look for it.
They're like $12. I found it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But still, principle. The thing. So mad.
You know, Apple can't take it away from us if we have it on disc.
Yeah. So mad. Because, like, I'm sorry.
Go for it.
There's something about finding these specials on TV rather than having them on DVD or finding them on streaming. Because, like, when you were a kid, everybody would gather around the TV and you would watch Rudolph or you'd watch Frosty and you would have that moment where you're just like, oh, everybody can, like... It was like a family get-together. You had a reason to gather around the TV. Now you don't really have that. Yeah. You can make it yourself, but there was something about, like, you know, December 8th. Yeah, it's time for...
4:30.
Yeah, it's time for, you know, Frosty. And now we don't have that. And it bums me out a little bit. It's not important. Like, it's not the worst thing, obviously, that's happening to us. But... it's one of those things that kind of sticks in my craw. Right in my craw. But as long as they play A Christmas Story for 24 straight hours on TBS, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, as long as that doesn't change, I'll be okay.
Oh yeah, Christmas Story, that one too.
Sorry about that. That was a huge digression, but I'm so mad.
Okay, so she was in Noelle.
Yes, Alvina August was in Noelle, and she's actually from Zimbabwe. Oh. But she was raised in Canada. We're counting it. She's Canadian, you know.
But does she identify as Canadian?
On Wikipedia, it says Zimbabwe Canadian.
Okay.
So that's what I'll take. Alvina, if you're watching, if you don't choose Canada, don't write in. No. I think it's Alvina. I feel like every single episode I fuck up somebody's name, and I don't mean to.
Did it say who she was in Noelle, or does it just say various characters?
It did. She had a character name, but I didn't write it down.
Well, I guess I have to watch Noelle again.
Yes, she was also in. There's a new show on Hulu called Woke. She was in Nancy Drew on the CW.
She's decorated.
Yeah, she was in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina for a couple of episodes, and she was in one episode of Supernatural.
Which one?
It was something in 2017, so it was one of the newer ones.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, though. Was she in the musical one where they all sat around and sang? And...
I don't think so, but I hope so, because that's a good episode. This movie was written by two people.
Yeah.
Mike Mariano, who is known for writing My Name is Earl, Raising Hope, and Yes Dear, two amazing shows and one okay show. And the other writer was Jill Bartlett, who is not really known for her writing, but more for her acting. She was in a show called Amphibia, which is on the Disney Channel. It looks to be in the same vein as like Gravity Falls.
Oh.
A show called Scissor 7, which I believe was an anime. And a show called One Mississippi, which starred Tig Notaro.
Really?
Yeah. So, she was only in like one or two episodes of that.
Oh.
And so, like, this is the first time where we don't have actors or writers who are in the Hallmark bubble. That is until we get to the director, Terry Ingram, who has done a metric dickload of these. Time for You to Come Home for Christmas, The Mistletoe Secret, Chesapeake Shore, Just Add Romance, Valentine in the Vineyard, All My Heart, The Wedding, Aurora Teagarden's Mysteries, The Sweetest Christmas, Marry Me at Christmas, and of course, his crown jewel, Paparazzi Princess, The Paris Hilton Story.
Huh.
2.3 stars on IMDb.
So it's like the average of his movies. Do we like him? That's the thing.
I believe he had something like 70 plus directing credits to his name. All of them pretty much this kind of thing.
Like 3 out of 5?
What, like quality wise?
Yeah,
I have
what's the
no
quality
idea
of his work?
Like,
is this him phoning it in, or
hard
is this
to
him
say.
Doing his best?
I have to imagine this is his median.
I see.
So, but I remember watching the Paris Hilton Story because my mom watched it.
Yeah,
well, of course she did.
Of course she did.
And the movie sucks beyond the fact that it's a story about Paris Hilton and who cares. But like, remember when Paris Hilton went to jail for like 86 minutes?
Yeah.
They turned that into a big deal in this movie. Like, they shot it like it was like her rock bottom cocaine addiction. Oh, black and white. Somebody's going to rehab. But yeah, so that is who we're dealing with. For our backstage folk. Mm-hmm. As you can tell, this movie had an IMDb profile.
What did the universe say about it?
Actually, I believe the score was about 7. 7 out of 10.
Really?
Which is pretty good, because most of these are rated poorly.
Yeah.
But I feel as though I don't take IMDb ratings into much consideration.
No.
Because if you let the internet do stuff, it gets review bombed. And that's bullshit. Like,
well, did they take like a 4-star bump because she's a woman and also a woman of color. Like,
could be. Like, it could be anything. But that's why I don't. And then people's like 0 stars. It's a stupid fucking Hallmark movie. Well, thanks for your input there, Ralph. I don't know. Go back to watching the Joe Rogan Experiment or whatever his show's called. Anywho, on to the actual plot. Curtain up. We have another countdown board to a certain holiday. It opens up the same way as Christmas Tree Lane.
It's bigger and meatier and requires at least 2 hands to use.
I thought it was the same board. It's not. But I just thought it was funny. Like, oh, it begins already.
Yes. You need to know how far you are into this movie without checking the timestamp.
Yeah, right? But by the end, like, we have, like, day 4. Mm-hmm. And then we never see it again for, like, 45 minutes. And then it shows up again, and you're like, oh, hey. Molly is our main character. She's a baker, and she's super busy at Christmas time. Too busy to find a Christmas tree with her little niece.
Aww.
Sound familiar?
I mean, come on, you're a baker at Christmas time, of course you're going to be busy.
That's true.
Everyone wants cakes and cookies and junk. This is your time. This is your money.
This is the big top. Our male lead, we're going to cut between the male and female lead quite often.
That's true.
Because they both kind of share the same amount of screen time. So our male lead is named Josh. And he looks exactly like Bradley Cooper after recovering from A Star Is Born. Like, he's cut his hair, but his beard's still a little gray and patchy, and he's like wearing a hat. He's on the deep end. Watch as he dives in. He'll never leave the ground.
Personally, I think he looks like Timothy Hutton trying not to look like Timothy Hutton.
That's true. Timothy Hutton does not want to look like Timothy Hutton right now.
Yeah.
The male lead is named Josh. I think I said that. He has a son, and they are going through a list of everything to make this the perfect Christmas ever. Which is kind of a cute...
It's real cute. Like a whiteboard and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, that's actually a really neat idea.
But you know what I noticed? We never see that list completed.
No, they never say the list is completed. They just keep on saying stuff. But, like, the list is kind of irrelevant.
I know, right? But, like, they set it up as this is our, like, ticking clock of the film. Like, we scratch certain things off. Mm-hmm. And we never see the list is all done. This was the perfect Christmas.
Well, that's because it doesn't go down to Christmas. It goes down to the lighting of the tree ceremony.
I know, but still. You might as well, for God's sakes. He was a software developer in Texas, working like 24/7. He threw himself into his work, and this is his first quiet Christmas in a couple of years. We will find out why soon. Molly is super good at her job. She got an amazing review, which is the exact opposite of Chateau Christmas. And it has just flooded her business. She is the only person who works there. And she is super disorganized. She uses like a
post-it note
system. Post-it note system, which is not a good idea.
Like red is cookies, green is other cookies, and white is bread.
Is bread and sugar cookies.
And her sister's just like, what if you order bread and cookies? She's like, stapler. And she's like, that is not.
That's not, no. Oh. She also can't take orders on her website.
Which in 2020 is a bad call.
I was going to say, like, it's not difficult now to set that up. That's why this episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace. Give us money, please. It'd be nice.
Squarespace.
Not sponsored by Squarespace. But they do have an ability, like you can set up your own store and order things.
That's true, but like when you're that busy, like what kind? She like states it like, yeah, I'll do it in the spare time I definitely don't have.
Well, yeah, but you know, she also says she's gonna hire somebody else.
Yeah, but
we never see it.
In like the new year when the Christmas bake season's over.
Yeah. Josh's son gets a gift from his sister. They both do, actually. And it's an ugly Christmas sweater because it's an invitation to an ugly Christmas sweater party. And it is the exact same one from Chateau Christmas.
I don't think it is.
It's green. It's got the
it's got a reindeer
reindeer on it. and it's got the same pattern. It's probably not the exact same sweater because it fits a child, but
it's fundamentally a similar sweater.
It's fundamentally the exact same sweater.
And also, Josh's sweater, not that bad. It's just a sweater.
And they do the thing when they open it and they're just like wah wah.
But his sweater is just a red sweater with like white pattern.
Yeah, the white Christmas trim. I thought it was cute.
It's like Christmas trim. That's a good sweater. Or maybe I'm a bad judge of fabric. I don't know. Point is, that's an acceptable sweater. I mean, the sun.
I thought it was good.
The sun has a giant reindeer on it, so you know.
Yeah. So they have a setup for this ugly Christmas sweater party, and Josh offers to bake Christmas cookies to help her out. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Oh my God, you can bake cookies?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can bake." Charlie, tell him I can bake. And Charlie's like, "I've never seen it." Charlie, but this is the first time we've had a child as an actual character and not like as a prop.
That's true. It's always like a niece or a nephew or something.
Yeah, like this is the first time we've had a child, and he's solid. Yeah. But he's written like a 40-year-old wrote him. Yeah. Yeah. Like he doesn't talk like a child. He talks like a movie character.
Well, they all do. So.
Yeah, but. Outside of that, I thought he did a very good job.
He did a real good job, yeah.
So they go out, and one of the things on the list is to find the perfect Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. And so they go out to the Christmas tree lot at the same time as Molly and Molly's niece.
Yeah.
What was Molly's niece's name?
I don't know. Let's just call her Molly's niece.
Okay, because I haven't, like, Molly's niece, so-and-so's nephew, this and that. I'm trying to get the name, but I didn't catch it. Molly's niece spends more time with Molly than with her own mother.
Well, her mom's busy Christmas shopping and junk.
I'm just saying, we're at the, like, if you call your grandmommy Mommy and your mommy Pam, you're going to jail. That's an old Chris Rock joke. They go into the tree lot, and they have this moment where they both, like, reach into the tree to check the needles. Mm-hmm. And they, like, touch hands in the tree.
Aww.
And which is kind of cute and like romantic, like, oh, there's a spark. But in reality, if you touch somebody else's hand in a tree, sorry. Oh my God.
This is also true. But also, I didn't realize you had to like check tree needles for softness.
The softness of the needles. I learned something today.
Is that true? Like, did any of us Google that to find out if the softness of the needles
I don't know
meant that it's well hydrated?
I don't know if that's true, but I don't know enough about trees to dispute it. So,
and yet we're the first people to get trees. So maybe
I just grab a tree that looks pretty.
Yeah.
So they have a thing where they both want the same tree, and Josh is like, he like bends down to Charlie and he goes, "What do you think? Should we give him the tree?" And Charlie's like, "Fuck no. That tree is ours. We got here first." Josh is like, "Come on, man. What do you think? It'd be nice. It's an act of Christmas kindness." He's like, I guess.
Which is a very childlike thing to do.
That's true. And Josh is like, "You know what? We'll give you guys the tree, but the tree's already been sold."
Which is a little bit of a funny twist. So.
Whoops. So they're like, "Well, I guess we'll see you later. We'll see you down the road." And like, "Yep, of course." And they start walking the same way, which is the most awkward thing in the world. And it's funny because Josh is like, "Oh, well, looks like we're going the same way." And Molly's just like flat out, "No, we're not."
That's because
face.
Because it's freaking weird, dude. If I was Molly, I too would make up an excuse to go the other way.
It wasn't even like an excuse like, "Oh, I forgot my keys." It's just like, "Oh, so we're going the same way." And she's like, "No, we're not. We're going this way now."
Yeah, no, that's a solid response.
Okay, bye.
Don't walk near strangers in lockstep with strangers in a tree parking lot. That's just good, solid advice.
Yeah. So Josh and Charlie eventually get their tree, and they decorate it. It looks super pretty.
It's a very chonky tree.
It's a big fat tree.
It's short, but it's chonky.
Like me. And it's got these like golden lights on it, and like I go for the colored lights myself, but I do like just the golden light look. Mm-hmm. That looks very cute. And they look through a box of old ornaments, and they find one which is a picture of Charlie and his first meeting with Santa Claus. And in it, we see a woman in army fatigues, and we now realize why Charlie doesn't have a mother. And you can actually attest to this. When I saw this, I said out loud, Oh, no.
That's true. I could hear you from the other room. I was like, is everything okay? And you're like, no.
No. First of all, using the war and soldiers not making it home for Christmas is super manipulative and, like, tear-jerking on purpose. Mm-hmm. That being said, it works on me every goddamn time. One of the things, like, if you want to make me cry on sight, soldiers coming home for Christmas, like those big surprises, done. Every single time.
Well, they're home for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. But yeah, so we know where this is going.
And he was like, yeah, I miss Mom. And he's like, I too miss Mom. You know, she loved you the most? Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Then there are a lot of cute moments between the two. Yes. I really like the relationship between Josh and Charlie.
Yeah.
I thought that was very well done. At the Christmas party...
The alleged ugly sweater Christmas party.
The alleged ugly sweater, which, again...
Oh, we forgot to mention, while they were reminiscing about Mom, they burnt all the cookies.
I was just about to get into that. Josh gets bailed out because he was making the cookies, and he let them burn. And so...
By the way, he has one of those double ovens. I had to notice this. And
I didn't even notice that.
And it was one of those really nice ovens where you had, like, 2 layers of oven, and God, I want one of those ovens.
Yeah, for somebody who doesn't bake, he's got a
real nice house. For a guy who probably ate takeout for, like, 2 years. You know?
Yeah. It's a nice house.
It's a real nice house. Gimme.
So he gets bailed out because his sister orders a ton of these sugar cookies from Molly's Bakery, which is a kind of nice tangential connection, which they do very well in this movie. You know, they don't know each other, but Josh's sister knows Molly because she's running this, and Molly knows this person from over here. Mm-hmm. It's a nice little web that is
coming together here.
Coming together, yeah. Later, Josh's brother tries to hook him up with a friend of theirs. I believe her name is Jessica, but I don't think we learned that for a while. And Josh could not be any less enthused.
I mean, he has dead wife syndrome, right?
Yeah, like, to his credit, Josh is like, oh, great, hey, how's it going? But he can see this, like, a mile away. Mm-hmm. He's just like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, it was a really clumsy setup. Where she asked for his number so that way they could, like...
Jessica knew, like, he's gonna be resistant. But I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah. I don't remember what she was asking. It was, like, for some business thing. But we all knew it wasn't
We all know what it was for.
And it was like, it's not a business thing.
You lied to me.
And he was like, no.
Yeah. Again, he puts up with it as about as well as could be. We don't know... It's been 5 years since his wife's death. I don't know if that's long enough. Like, they're trying to push him out. Like, you gotta get out there. You gotta get back in the dating pool. And he's just like, dude, I don't even know.
Pass?
Yeah.
Pass.
Because, like, 5 years is a long time. But on the other hand, it's only been 5 years.
He's got a kid to worry about. You know? Dating's hard when you got kids.
Which is the same thing I said about Jackson and female lead. What's her name? It was another M name.
I remember her last name was Hammond.
Margot. It's all, oh boy, we're 4 movies in. I gotta imagine by like movie 38, we'll just be like, so this movie takes place at what's that holiday called? Christmas.
New Year's? No.
No.
St. Patrick's?
No. Valentine's? No.
Halloween? Nope. Christmas?
So after his wife's death, Josh just threw himself into his work to get over it. And for about 4 or 5 years.
It seemed to work.
It worked, but it alienated Charlie.
Yeah.
To the point where Charlie had to come up to him. And like this is another one of those children talking as adults things. Mm-hmm. But apparently, according to Josh, Charlie came up to him and said, Dad, I don't want to lose you too.
Oh.
Which, like, yeah, it's sad, but you're like, no, he didn't. But the point got across that... And from that moment, I do like this part. The moment Charlie told him that, they moved. They went from Texas to wherever this movie takes place.
He sold the company.
He sold the company. Apparently, he was a big deal. He sold the company. He stopped working, and he went right for his son. Which I like that they didn't do the Dad doesn't have time for me, Christmas wish kind of movie. So I thought that was really, really well done.
So I guess that company must have been worth millions of dollars because, like, he's not working as far as we know.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the movie, he says he used to be a tech guy. Like,
that's true,
past tense. Like, are you just coasting on a bunch of money?
Hey, you know what? If you can, God bless you. At one point, one of the characters says, Charlie is very wise for his age. And I wrote, yeah, it's almost like he was written by a 45-year-old. And like I said, I like the relationship between Josh and his son. It's cute without being, like, too schmaltzy yet. And I don't think it ever gets there. But it's nice to see that. That, at least, was quite well written.
Yeah.
That night, Josh can't sleep. So he starts doing some work for his sister. His sister is going from this Christmas party to the tree lighting. Yeah. She's putting together a festival. And he's like, Josh, you're not working. Work for me. And he's like, I got nothing else to do. Why not? And he goes to call, or, he emails, excuse me. He emails a bakery to put in a gigantic cookie order. And wouldn't you know it, it's Molly's Bakery. Molly, who is also up at 3:30 in the morning because... Bakers
have to be up that early to make...
Them's is bacon hours.
Them's is bacon hours. Like, they got that right. You do have to bake, like, an insane early in the morning.
Yeah, and
so that way you can have bread and croissants for breakfast. Yeah. And they say croissants weird.
They say crescents?
No, they say croissants. Like, they suddenly become French.
That's when, like, the guy who, like, spent a summer in Italy gets super, like... into it when he's back in America. So it's like, oh yeah, can we get some spaghetti with a little bit of mozzarella and
you're just like, just say mozzarella, say cheese,
say cheese. Shut up and say cheese.
No, but they say croissants weird.
Yeah. So. And they do mention, like, they write that in the story that she's always awake at these kind of hours.
Which means because hours for bakers are just absurd.
And they email back and forward. And then she's like, well, I have a bunch of questions. And he's like, it'd be easier if I could call. She's like, sure, go for it. And so he's making a business call at 4 a.m.
I mean, they were emailing each other rather than just using a messenger app. So,
I was going to say, no email chain has ever gone that quickly.
That's true. Like, you walk away, you go mix something, and then it's like 45 minutes later, and then you answer the email. Right?
Yeah. And immediately they have, like, a chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
Immediately they're just like, oh, well... doing this baking thing, and he's just like, oh, this is my first time doing something this big, and I had trouble with my cookies last time, so maybe I can use some of your tips. She's like, oh, well, if you're lucky, blah, blah, blah.
It's all very friendly.
And it's very nice, because they get off on a good step. Mm-hmm. But this is the most unprofessional business phone call I've ever heard.
That's true.
I've been in these business phone calls, and it's never been that flirty.
Yeah, well, it's 4 a.m. and they're feeling flirty.
Yeah, might as well, eh? The next day, Josh and Charlie are out getting ice cream, and they run into Molly and Molly's niece. And Charlie and Molly's niece hit it off really well, too.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be, like, part of the storyline, but it never does.
No. But, incidentally, they have really cool flavors, like gingerbread-flavored ice cream.
Gingerbread and candy cane-flavored ice cream, which I'm all about.
Where can we find that?
I think you made... a candy cane flavored ice cream once, right?
Did I?
Yeah.
I mean, I can make it this year.
I remember because I ate it.
I made peppermint ice cream.
That's the same thing.
No, you add green dye to peppermint ice cream.
Well, no, I think you used candy cane. I think it was crushed up because it was white. Oh. And there's bits of candy cane in it.
Well, then I'm making candy cane ice cream again.
Hell yeah.
I also want gingerbread ice cream.
Yeah, gingerbread ice cream sounds good.
I know.
Something I noticed is weird. Do neither of them realize recognize each other's voices?
Guess not. I mean, you do sound different through microphones and phones and whatever,
right? But it's like, it's only been a couple of hours. Like, if it was 3 a.m., it's the same day.
That's
true.
Because Molly doesn't sleep, I guess.
But yeah, I guess. And there's a couple times where they talk where I'm just like, do you guys not notice it at all? And later in the movie, when Molly goes to meet him, like, for real, she's like, I don't know, what if he recognizes my voice? And I'm like, lady, it hasn't been a problem so far. So Molly goes back to her sister, and her sister attacks her about Josh with the exact same ferocity as the family from
Chateau Christmas?
Chateau Christmas. Just immediately, she's like, oh, I met a guy. Who is he? What's his number? Is he cute? What's this? Whoa, damn, bitch.
Were they at her sister's house having cake or whatever?
They were. It was a tiramisu?
I don't know what it was.
Or it was a tart or something.
I don't know, but it looked delicious, and that was the politest little girl I've ever seen.
Yeah, she does the full-on, like, may I be excused, please?
And it looks natural, so, like, they're all very good at their job, but, like...
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the little girl's a good actress, too.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that little scene where they're just like, can I have a second slice? No. Okay. Can I be excused? Like, what child is that nice and that polite?
Yeah.
I want to meet them.
I know, right? But her sister and her husband jump all over this, like, are you going to date him? You should ask him out. He looks cute. They've known each other a cumulative 10 minutes. Back off, you horny monsters. Wow.
I mean, all their friends are married. She's the last one. They gotta get their tea somewhere. Goddamn.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Josh calls Molly again under the guise of professionalism. But then he just flat out asks for baking tips.
Yeah, apparently you're supposed to chill your dough with cookies. Like, I can make a lot of things, but, like, even I was just like, oh, you're supposed to chill it? Oh, damn.
I did the same thing. It's like, that's when my cookies always melt. Oh,
that's why I can't make sugar cookies.
I learned quite a bit from this movie. I'll be real with you.
Incidentally, I want sugar cookies.
Yeah, this movie gonna make you want cookies. And there's the one where they decorate these, like, Christmas trees.
Yeah.
It looks super good.
Yeah. They're perfect looking trees. I don't know if those are real cookies, like they actually had a baker on staff, or they were like pretend plastic cookies that they made backstage.
Either way, if it's plastic, then I'm eating that plastic.
But they look real good.
Molly asks about his oven, and he's like, well, it cooks when I make lasagna. And she goes, wow, lasagna too. Jack of all trades. 2 whole things? Cookies that you burnt and lasagna?
Part of me thinks she was making fun of him a little bit.
I think it's just that smitten kind of like, oh wow, really? You do that too? But I just thought it was funny. I think Jack of all trades is at least 3 things. I noticed that the guy playing Josh's brother looks like Elon Musk and John Barrowman had a kid. I don't know that they didn't. But there you go.
And even he was just like, so... You see anybody?
Yeah, Josh's brother, and it is his brother.
Yeah, that's his brother, and then his sister-in-law.
His sister-in-law. His brother was like, hey, you know, I'm worried about you. You know, last night I got up and went down to the kitchen, and I saw your light on, and you were talking to yourself, and I'm just wondering if you're okay. And he's like, first of all, don't look through my window. That's weird. I don't care if you're my brother and we live next door. Don't look through my window.
His brother calls him out on that. Like...
Yeah, and then second of all, I was on the phone. And he was like, you're on the phone at 3:30 in the morning? Yeah. I was talking to the baker. And actually, he says the exact same thing Molly says. Molly says if nobody's awake, if I'm not baking at 3, there's no croissants for the morning. And he goes like, yeah, if nobody's awake at 3, there's no croissants for the morning. And the guy goes, I guess you're right.
Which is what he said when Molly said, yeah, if I don't make them now, there are no croissants for the morning.
Yeah.
And he went, oh, yeah.
I'm just, keep your nose to yourself, nerd. Get out of my house.
Okay, first of all, you definitely weren't awake at 3 a.m. to check to see if it was snowing from your kitchen window.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's like, oh, I just woke up and I checked to see if it was snowing. No, you didn't.
Why are you spying on me? What's your deal? I'm getting blackout curtains is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think he says that. He's like, I'm getting thicker curtains or something because we need boundaries. Charlie and his grandma go to a place where they wrap presents for soldiers. Mm-hmm. The USO and soldiers are all over this movie. And I wondered why until I saw a commercial. Hallmark and the USO have a partnership.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That explains a lot.
I was gonna say, so that's why that happens. And Charlie talks about, he says something like, I'm much better at opening presents than I am at wrapping them. And the present he wrapped looks better than anything I've ever wrapped.
True.
Like, ow, my pride.
That's not true.
I am notoriously bad. Like I said, I love Christmas more than some family members. But I can't wrap a gift to save my life.
That's why we have a rule that says you can buy me whatever you want. You just have to wrap it yourself.
I know. And every year, and it's coming up like freight train. Like we have this room where you can just like curtain off. And like Vanessa will be out in the front room and I'll be wrapping gifts. And just from this room, you can just softly hear me go, the hell? What am I?
You need help?
No. And so this kid.
Have more tape? I just gave you a fresh roll.
I know. Wrapping gifts, it's easy, bud. All you gotta do is ignore the blood. So, anyway, the little kid's worst day is better than my best, so... Little bastard. Meanwhile... While Molly is at the exact same function, apparently she volunteers to help send video messages to soldiers. They don't say where the soldiers are, but soldiers overseas. And they have this moment where they just talk about how darn nice she is. Mm-hmm. And it's literally just like, wherever Molly goes, people are happy. She just makes people happy to be around. And then Charlie has this idea.
And Charlie just be like, is she single?
Yeah. And he's just like, my dad's gonna hit that.
He's just like, you are 7, not for me.
Yeah, not me. And she's like, well, if you want to come back later and bring your dad, we can shoot a video. And he's like, yes, a video. That's what we'll do.
For the soldiers.
The soldiers.
For the soldiers.
So Charlie has this idea about turning the cookie booth at the tree lighting festival into this giant gingerbread house. And I guess for that, we need a baker.
Yeah, because we're going to fill it with even smaller gingerbread houses.
And so Josh is like, I know a baker, I got it! He jumps at any single chance to call Molly. It's kind of cute.
Which is really cute, really.
So he calls up Molly and he's like, oh, we thought about turning this whole thing into a gingerbread house and then have children decorate their own gingerbread houses. She's like, that's a complete shift from what we were doing, but yeah, I can do that.
There was an undertone of her going, are you high? Because I've made sugar cookies. Now you want me to make entire gingerbread houses?
But she agrees and she thinks it's a good idea. Mm-hmm. And then they pull back and they're at the same function. It's going to see Santa. And so they have a lot of moments where they're like in the same place and they just miss each other. It's very Fievel Goes West. Remember Fievel Goes West?
I know.
It's a lot less sad than Fievel Goes West, but
my heart hurts because of Fievel.
Yeah, right. Molly does see Josh and Charlie way off in the distance, but she sees them with Josh's sister-in-law and thinks that's his wife.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that's Josh. She just thinks it's some cute guy, right? Because she doesn't connect it till later.
Oh, well, because she's kind of into both dudes. The dude from that she keeps popping up with and the dude on the phone.
Yeah, that's true.
She doesn't know that they're the same person yet.
And so she sees him and she'd be like, oh, hey, oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. I did notice, like, a lot of their time is spent over the phone, so there's not a whole lot for us to talk about. But because like a couple of conversations go by and just nothing happened. So it's hard for, like, there's no real notes we can write other than that they're still talking.
Yeah, it's very cute.
It is. There is one point where they talk on the phone, and this is where we get in deep. He talks about losing his wife, and then she talks about what made her want to be a baker. She always liked baking, but she actually went to school for finance, and she was a banker. And made this big, like, 3-tiered wedding cake, and she wanted it to be so good she did, like, 3 practice ones. And then the groom to the wedding didn't show up. And then we find out it was her wedding. She made her own wedding cake. She was going to be married, and then the groom ditched her.
And so she got left at the altar, which would scare anybody off from relationships.
Exactly.
Really.
I have it written here. That son of a bitch, I hope he's dead.
Well, if her sister is as good a sister as a ride or die that she's portrayed so far, that woman had that man killed. Like,
absolutely.
She got in the car upon finding out about this, found him, and that's why she never saw him again.
No mercy. Just, oh, God.
But, yeah, and, like, his wife, the soldier, was a nurse, and she always loved helping people until she didn't come back. So, you know.
That was the thing. She was a nurse with the army, and then she was deployed. And she wasn't supposed to be anywhere near combat, and they just got targeted, and they were unlucky, and they died.
Which happens.
And it was awful. Like
that's truly just tragic.
That's a fucking awful storyline. But both of these two need therapy.
Yeah.
I don't mean that, like, I'm not making fun of them. You legitimately need to talk over this, because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you two aren't ready for a relationship, I don't think. But, like, it's great that you guys are willing to try, though. Like, power to you.
I believe this is also basically the plot to You Got Mail.
I've never seen that.
Okay, You Got Mail is like a 2000s Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan film, where Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan are emailing each other, like, dating over email, and they're super flirty. Yeah. And then they meet each other in person. They don't know that they're the same person, but they hate each other in real life.
Oh.
And then they flirt on text.
I see.
I don't know how it ends, but I believe this is a nicer version of You Got Mail. But yeah, so some random fella shows up and invites Molly to the restaurant he owns because he uses her bread to make something.
He
said it, but I don't know what it was.
I mean, he owns an Italian restaurant. You just give bread out just for showing up.
Yeah, but it was an actual, like, dish.
Well, again, Italian restaurant. It could have been anything.
Yeah. And then Molly's sister is like, wow, an open invitation to a restaurant. For two. You should take somebody. Maybe a guy who has a kid who you met at an ice cream place. And or the tree place.
And or saw at the Santa thing. I don't know. Just spitballing here. And she's just like, ugh.
And then she's like, why don't you ask the guy on the phone? You know, that dude you've been talking to off and on. And she's like, I don't know. I don't want to ask him out. Because what if we don't have the same connection in person as we do on the phone?
Legitimate fear.
Which is a legitimate fear. I think we know that better than a lot of people. Yeah. Because there is, like, especially, like, on text.
Yeah.
You can gather your thoughts a whole lot better. Which I think is obvious, especially from me. Because, as you guys know now, I say, a lot. So, Josh goes to the candy store where Jessica works. That lady we tried to hook him up with earlier in the film.
Yeah, because we need candy for the gingerbread houses. Because what's a gingerbread house without a little decoration?
Yeah.
Right?
And he's texting Molly like, "Hey, what kind of candy do I need? This and that." And Molly's sister is like, "Wait, he's at the candy store?" And he's like, "Yeah." Goes, "That's like a block over there. Let's go see him."
And she's like, "No, I have a business to run."
You're on lunch now, ho! And then they run out. And then this is where she says, "What if he recognizes my voice?" You're good.
You're probably good. But, like, her sister is all about this hunt, right? And so she's, like, hiding behind trees and stuff.
Oh, yeah, she's down.
She's down. She's just like, I'm trying to get a look at him. Oh, it's probably him in the candy store. She's like, I don't know. There's probably a lot of people. There is one dude in the candy store.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, I don't know if that's him. And then Molly's sister's like, text him. And she's like, okay. And she texts him like, hey, how about candy?
Gumdrops, maybe?
Yeah, and then obviously he picks up the phone. He's like, oh my god, that's him.
She's just like, oh my god, that's him. He cute. You good job, girl.
And then she's sad because like, oh, that's him, but he's married. I saw his wife. And she's like, what was her last name? And she's like, or what's his last name? And he goes,
thing. I don't know.
Yeah, Holland or Hollis or something like that. He goes, okay. Was that lady a blonde? She's like, yeah. She pulls up the picture on her phone, and she's like, that's not his wife. That's his sister-in-law. She's my friend. I know her. And he's like, oh my God. Do you know what that means? And Molly goes, that I'm going to be sick?
Is this the part where she puts 2 and 2 together that Josh is the guy she keeps running into on...
Yes.
Okay.
So Josh goes to come out of the store, and they both just, like, ditch off in the other direction. They're like, no, not right now.
There's a convenient number of trees to hide behind.
Josh also goes up to Molly's bakery, but, of course, they're not there. So it's, again, one last misconnection before everything's revealed. About halfway into the film, all of Charlie's lines basically become, we have to film our message for the soldiers. And that is the extent of his character until the end of the film.
On the plus side, her sister picks up the slack, and she's like, girl, I'm going to get you a nice dress. Yeah. This is going to be cool. You're going to meet. It's going to be a meet cute. It's going to be great.
Yeah. But yeah, poor Charlie's character just gets eviscerated. Because he wants it to happen. But, like, every time he shows up, and we got to do our message for the soldiers. Like, come on, Dad.
Come on, Dad. I saw the nicest girl in town, and she's making messages for soldiers. Let's get the light out here.
Exactly. Molly calls Josh late at night to tell him about bakery stuff, and then it just quickly evolves into talking about personal stuff. Trying to get more info out of him. And he was like, yeah, I went down to the candy store later today. And Molly goes, my bakery's pretty close to you. And Josh goes, oh, I wish I would have known that. I would have stopped by. And then Molly goes, yeah, that'd have been really neat. And then she has a face just like, fuck.
What are you doing, Molly? What are you doing?
Aw, come on, man, for God's sake. So that was kind of funny. We finally get to this stupid video thing that has consumed Charlie's character. And Molly's not there. It's actually Jessica. I guess they volunteer at the same place.
And Charlie just kind of stops and go, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, and like, he's super bummed out.
And he's just like, okay, let's do this a different time. And he's like, no, you've gone on for 4 scenes about this.
That's the thing, like Charlie sees it and she's like, oh, no. Like, where's the other lady? And she's like, well, she's not here, but I'm here. Goes, aren't I? Like, I'm good. And she's like, yeah, I guess. And Josh is just like, I'm sorry, I have no idea what's going on. And Jessica's like, hey, enough pussyfooting around. Do you want to go out for dinner?
Yeah, she's straight up. She doesn't even, like, try to do a setup or anything.
Yeah.
Like, you, me, dinner, huh?
And Josh is just like, and then the scene ends.
And Charlie's plan backfired.
He is despondent. And they cut back to him, to Josh at, like, his family talking to his brother.
Yeah, and they're all decorated and stuff. They still haven't finished it, you know?
Yeah.
I think they're putting like, clothes on a rack for something. I don't know. Maybe there's another Christmas concert we don't know about.
Yeah, and so he just kind of rambles a bit, and then he tries to decline. He's talking to his brother, and he's just like, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm just gonna call and say no. And then as he does that, he gets a text, and Jessica's already made reservations.
Well, you know, he's just like,
fuck.
It wasn't a hard date. It's not like she made reservations. Ping! I made reservations! Yeah. Oh, great.
For God's sake.
And it's just like, well, I don't want to go do that because, like, I promised Charlie we'd make a snow fort.
Yeah, his big thing to not date has been Charlie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't want Charlie to think I'm abandoning him. I want him to know that he's, number one. And if I start dating again, I don't want him to feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Which is, that makes sense.
Yeah, but at this point, he's not. He's using it as an excuse, though.
Absolutely he is, but...
He's just like, well, we have to make a snow fort, and that's going to take some time. That takes like 40 minutes. The reservation's at 8.
It's not in another 5 hours. So they go and they make the snow fort, and it's a pretty bitchin' looking snow fort.
I've never made a snow fort. It doesn't snow that much around here.
Oh, we will get you a snow fort.
Promise?
Hell yeah. Yeah. So... They build it, but they build it a little bit too high, so Charlie can't see over it. And he's like, oh, we have a scope that they built a while ago.
Yeah, it's made out of cardboard.
It's made out of cardboard. It's cute. And so he goes in and finds it, and then Charlie has a bear, and they bought him like another bear
to give it a friend.
Which we don't see. This is the first time we've seen the second bear.
I feel like we saw the second bear at the candy shop. Not the candy shop, the ice cream shop. Remember when he first met the little girl? And she's just like, "Oh, did you give it a Christmas wish?" And I was like, "What the hell are you going on about?"
Oh, I missed that. I must have missed it entirely. Because you can like record like a little wish, and then like it's your Christmas wish bear.
I think it was the bear from the ice cream shop, and they were talking about Christmas wishes, and I was deeply confused to be like, "Who makes a Christmas wish on a bear? What?"
It's kind of cute. And so, like, as, like, Josh picks it up and he throws it on the bed, it starts to talk. He's like, my wish is that my dad will find somebody who makes him happy, just like Mom used to.
Oh. You couldn't just ask for a dirt bike? Come on, kid.
I was waiting for him to... My dad will find somebody to make him happy, just like Mom did. And also an Xbox One.
And a puppy. If you can swing it, I would also like a PlayStation 5.
But this is Josh's impetus to be like, I guess he's okay. Like, if this is what he wants, like, if he's clearly matured to the point where he recognizes this, then I guess I'm going out with Jessica. So the restaurant is the same one that guy offered Molly.
Yeah, with the bread guy.
That's going to come in handy. This is Josh's first date in half a decade, so, like, he's super nervous the whole time.
Yeah.
I think what they're trying to do is, like, he has no, like, connection with this lady whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whereas with Molly, it's effortless. With Jessica, it's just like, you could try, but... he wanted to be a hockey player when he grew up. That's not important to the story, but I wrote it down.
But his slap shots suck, so he did tech.
So he did tech. Molly forgot an order of bread.
Turns out the Post-it note system was a real bad system to keep track of orders.
Mm-hmm.
So she found a Post-it note on the floor and she was like, oh no.
Oh good, my career is flashing before my eyes. And so she just hauls ass towards this restaurant. Mm-hmm. And the chef is super nice about it.
Yeah, he's standing outside waiting for his order of bread.
And I can guarantee you, this is how you know this movie isn't realistic and that he's an actor.
Yeah.
Because if you ever been in a restaurant during rush hour...
And knowing that you're running out of bread, she would have gotten 15 phone calls before the alarms went off.
He would have had her killed.
Like, drop-kicked her off a roof. But no, like, at the sight of bread not coming in, he would have screamed at least 3 different servers to call her up. But no, he's super nice about it, even though he's standing out in what should be the cold.
Yep.
Waiting for this bread. And he's just like, oh, come in, I will make you dinner, come. And she's just like, look, I screwed this up, so the bread's on the house, which, good job.
Yep.
And then she sees him in being all like, wait, is that my dream dude?
Yeah. She looks in and sees Josh on the date, and she's just like, you know what? I have to go. And she's not, like, mad at him. Like, how dare he? It's just her, like, I should have bit this bullet way before.
But also, you're passing up free dinner? What the hell?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
This is a nice restaurant.
You're a poor baker. You know how, yeah. So...
Go eat your feelings and pasta, like...
Yeah, Molly leaves, like, a voice message for Josh, but when he calls back, she doesn't answer. It's the day of the festival, and Molly just refuses to go. Because she's, like, super butthurt about it, really. Like,
I saw him with another woman that's not me.
Yeah, and then, she's like, her sister's like, what is wrong with you? Because I saw him out with another woman. It was a date. And she goes, are you sure? Because last time you thought his sister was his wife. And this is where the movie kind of loses me a little bit, because all of this could be handled by a conversation. Just a quick, like, hey, you got a wife/sister/date? Like, it's one of those things that, like...
So what's the status with Jessica, huh? Like, what?
Yeah.
You gonna see her again, or is that just a one-time deal?
And this is where the movie kind of loses me, because it's just... Plots that can be solved by going, hey, this movie should have been, like... I finished this movie, it's about 2 hours with commercials. I probably finished it in about an hour and 10 because there's so much stuff you can skip.
But then we wouldn't have plot. So
that is true.
She's butthurt about it, and she tells her sister to take the cookies to the festival. Right? Because she has to go and cry into some cookie dough, I guess.
Molly doesn't show, and Josh is super visibly disappointed. And the sister shows up instead. And he's like, Molly, how are you? And she's like, I'm not Molly. I'm her sister. He goes, oh. Is she in the car, or
is she like here?
Is she here? She goes, no, she's busy with bread
and muffins.
Muffins. She's busy with muffins.
Muffins. Yeah, huge order of muffins. Big
Christmas muffins. And she's like, and he's just like, well, you know, if you see her, let her know that I'd love to be able to put a face to the name. And he called, like, I get it, man, shoot your shot. And he calls her multiple times, and she refuses every single time.
Yeah.
And now that's just kind of a dick move on Molly's part.
Yeah,
like he doesn't know why you're mad, because to him, like, none of this. You're just the baker lady, you know.
Like, we had something good going here. Now you don't want to talk to me? What up, girl? And she's just decorating her sadness out, I guess.
So Charlie admits that the only reason he wanted to do this USO booth was so that his dad could meet Molly, because Molly makes everyone around her happy, including his dad.
Even the kid sees it. Like, how obvious is
everybody, including the 7-year-old.
The 7-year-old's just like, dude.
Josh's brother talks to Molly's sister, and she's just like, hey, what's up with him and Jessica? And he's just like, yeah, we tried to set him up, but it's not working. Let's be real here. And she's just like, oh, so he's single? He's like, yeah, we're 0-1 for setting people up. And she's like, haha, interesting. For no reason I have to leave. Zoom! And she's just like, Molly, for God's sakes, open the door. And Molly's just like, what?
And she's like, girl, get your dress.
Yeah, I got you a dress. Here's some shoes. We are going to the thing.
She's like, she was very confused, and I thought it was hilarious.
She's like, why? He goes, because they're not together. He's single. Let's go, out the door. And so it's time for the Christmas tree lighting. And there's actually a very nice moment I liked. Molly arrives, and then they let him know, just like, hey, she's down the lane. Go. And as Josh approaches Molly, they count down to the tree lighting.
Yeah.
So as he gets closer, they're going 10, 9, 8. That's a really nice moment.
It is. I really like the mechanic. It was great. I love it. And she looks great in that dress.
She is slaying that dress. So they finally talk, and they have this like, hey, I've been trying to reach you. And she's like, yeah, let's not talk about that.
I was acting like a bad person.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, so we keep meeting like this. It's so weird. She's like, yeah, it is. You want to know something else weird? And he's like, yeah, sure. And she picks up her phone and texts him. And she just texts him like, it's me. And like, that's cute. I honestly, this ending scene I really liked.
I know, it's so cute.
And so they're just like, oh my God, this whole time? And she's like, this whole time? And at a moment, she's like, we've been making this so complicated. This isn't that complicated. And so we have our Merry Christmas kiss. And it's to Joy to the World, the bells. Bum, 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 bum. They kiss and they walk back towards the tree. That's actually we don't know what happens after that.
Yeah, that's the effective end of the story.
Because everyone's together. Charlie's message plays to the soldiers, and it's all of 5 seconds long.
Well, the point wasn't the message. The point was trying to get his dad laid.
I know, but like, it's just funny that he's just like, I hope everyone out there has a Merry Christmas and all of their dreams come true. And then the soldiers are like, oh, thanks. Dope. We get our happy ending. Curtain down. But yeah, so that is Deliver by Christmas. I don't really know why it's called Deliver by Christmas.
I think it's Deliver the Cookies by Christmas.
I suppose, but it's also not really...
It's not postal based, no.
Yeah, I figured it would be. But yeah, so it's... Overall, it's not the strongest movie we've had.
No.
There are moments in it that I liked.
But the ending is solid.
The ending is solid. The characters are good. What's her... Avina August is a better actor than Ian Bradley. Something I noticed, because he plays it very low-key. And I just think I had more fun watching her than I did watching him. But I think this is maybe our first movie with a male lead.
Yeah, because they were all female-led.
Yeah, because it's hard. They definitely share, if not equal time, he might get a little bit more just because of his relationship with his son.
Yeah. He brought a +1, so he gets more time.
Yeah. But yeah, overall...
we may have rated Jingle Bell Bride
too high.
We're gonna have to recalibrate the entire scoring.
Because that's the worst movie we've seen so far.
It is. And
that is the worst and the cheapest, and...
Which is a little sad, because it's not a bad movie, right?
It's not bad, it's just not good.
It's just not as good as the other ones.
Yeah, so... but I think it's, I gave Chateau Christmas an 8.
I need to recalibrate it. That's much.
Christmas Tree Lane, I gave a 7. This is probably a little bit worse than Christmas Tree Lane. Or I should say I like Christmas Tree Lane a little bit more than this one.
I think Christmas Tree Lane and this one sit on the same plane of existence.
So I'm gonna give this one a 6.5.
6 or a 7 sounds about right. Like 6.
You gotta pick one.
I know. So 6.5 sounds right.
Oh,
you know?
Okay.
That's why I said 6 or a 7, and I was just like, Is Christmas Tree Lane also a 6 or a 7? Do you think? Because I feel like they're on the same plane of existence.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
I think you gave it a 6.
Okay. So yeah, 6.5 sounds.
So
right.
6.5. But yeah, so it's solid. I'm not... So far, I haven't... Like, none of these movies have, like, wasted my time.
That's true.
Like, I haven't been angry at any of them. I haven't been, like...
I'm sure at least one of them will be infuriating.
Yeah, we have 36 more of these to go, and one of them's gotta be.
Statistically, they can't all be winners.
Yeah.
Holly and Ivy looks like it's gonna smash our hearts to itty little pieces. Not prepared for that shit.
So, but that's next week. That's probably gonna be next Tuesday. I don't know. Clearly, I don't understand my own scheduling system.
What did you like about this movie?
It's just something about these movies. They're just kind of pleasant to watch.
Yeah. But like this one specifically.
Well, I was gonna say, like the other ones, it has that kind of feeling. I liked our female lead. I thought she was very good. Her relationship with her sister was fun. I liked the relationship between Josh and Charlie. I thought this is probably the... nope, can't be. I was gonna say, this is probably the weakest connection between... Like, romantic connection we've had between the two. Because they were very rarely in the same room. But I still like it better than... Jingle Bell Bride. I wanted these two to get together more than I wanted the guys from Jingle Bell. Did you know Jingle Bell Bride's based on a book?
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a book?
Yeah. Released in 2017.
Oh.
I had no idea.
Why so weak? Why
why
so cliched? What
maybe the book's not good either.
Was this a terrible adaptation? Or was this better than the book? Like
we might have a Fight Club situation on our hands. But yeah, so I think overall it was just nice. It was fun to watch. I thought it was just pleasant enough to be worth watching, you know?
So what didn't you like about it? Like, why isn't it up there with Chateau
Christmas? It was more cliched. It was more obviously like heartstring tugging. Because I hate that. I really do. Just because it works doesn't mean I like it. It's my same problem with like
that Doctor Who episode.
Yeah,
where the dad goes missing.
The Doctor, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, that's the one where the dad goes.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, in that Christmas special, a family in World War II, their dad goes missing and is presumed dead in World War II. He was a pilot, and then he disappeared and he died. And then the mother doesn't want to tell the kids because it's Christmas, and they want them to have one last good Christmas.
Yeah. And to be fair to her, I would withhold that information too until the new year.
Absolutely. Right? But when it comes to these kinds of stories, you can tell the writer is in the back going, and then he's the father, and he dies on Christmas in the war, and they're gonna cry, and I'm such a good writer. And like, you know, and it's not that there's not a place for these stories. There are. And it's like I said, it's effective. Like, it makes me cry. But like, I can see these kinds of things, and I'll be watching it, and I'll just be like, this is bullshit writing. And it's the same with, like, you know, stories about people with cancer, and they're always so strong in the face of death, and
cancer novels, yes.
Yeah, cancer books, which is why I liked The Fault in Our Stars, because it isn't that.
It actually makes fun of them quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this is coming, and we'll get into it more probably when Holly and Ivy happen, because that's what they're selling it on. But these kind of manipulative story tactics, I really can't abide by. But this one wasn't too bad, which is why I kind of give it a better score. Everything made up, and they didn't dwell on it for too long. They didn't harp on it, which they really could have.
That's true, they could have.
So overall, like I said, I dug it. What about you? What part
did I like, or did I not like?
Well, what part did you like?
They were so cute. The texting and the cookies. The set design is great. Like, all these trees look like they came out of an IKEA catalog.
True.
Like, it's a Pier 1 commercial in here, people. Like, it's great. That is the cleanest bakery I've ever seen in my entire life.
There was no flour anywhere. That's bullshit.
Except on, like, her shirt a little bit as a joke. Like, I've done some baking, and flour gets everywhere. There was no her swear. She's a cook. She should be swearing like a sailor.
She should be burnt.
Yeah.
She should have burns on her arms. She doesn't.
Yeah, she should have burns literally everywhere. On her arms, on her legs, on her back somehow.
Yeah.
No, but, like, the set design is great. The acting is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
The setups are a little bit funny, so I like that.
Yeah. I think if this was a little bit more, like, Madcap, it would be, like...
Madcap?
Yeah, like... a little bit kookier, I guess.
Why don't you drink the coffee? Because it tastes like sadness.
I was gonna say, well, yeah, because, like, I could see this being, like, a movie, like, I'm gonna say a real movie, but that's not what I mean. That's kind of what I mean. It could be a real movie.
It is a real movie!
I know, but just, like, not a TV movie. Like, with a little bit more polish, this concept could
Yeah, it could use... some more comedy. Like,
yeah, it could.
But that's clearly not their forte. So.
No, that is true. Because we haven't had one. They've all been, like... There have been, like, some funny moments here and there, but I wouldn't call any of them comedies.
That's true. Because comedy is hard, people.
Yeah, it is. And I gotta imagine they're gonna try it.
Yeah.
But I think...
Yeah.
Well, what part didn't you like, I should say?
Let's see... No, I liked the ending. I liked mostly all of it. I mean, it was a little cheesy, and the writing was a little choppy at times. What 7-year-old talks like that?
Yeah.
What are you, Captain Holt? Get out of here. No, like, no kid is just like, I want my dad to be happy, unless your dad's real depressed.
Yeah, unless it's super obvious.
Just say you want a dirt bike, kid. Just... No, let's see... No, it's mostly the writing that lets it down a little bit. Yeah. But like everything else was like
it's tolerable. It's again like I said with the last movie. This is the kind of movie you want. It's exactly what you're getting into.
It's a hot cocoa. Let's sit down and watch a Hallmark movie, and it fits its own course. You know,
it does. But that's it for our first bushel. Our first 4 films are done now.
Okay.
So
now we have to worry about Halloween, I guess?
Yeah, so we have 2 movies coming out on October 31st. I'm unsure if this is the real one. A Christmas with the Darlings. That might not be like I haven't gotten the proper ad for it yet. But also we have Cranberry Christmas.
They've been really selling that one.
Yeah. And then November 1st, we will have One Royal Holiday and Holly and Ivy. We will do those starting on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Probably. Either Saturday night, Sunday morning. Who knows?
Who knows with us? We're wild cards.
We're wild cards like that. But we will start them next week.
And we will get you those episodes as fast as we can.
Yes. So hopefully you guys have liked our first week. I've liked it.
I liked it too. We've off to a strong start, I feel, with these.
I think so too.
They're solid bakes, as Mary would say.
As Mary Berry would say, it's a good bake.
Oh, God, I miss you, Mary. I miss you so much.
We all miss Mary Berry.
She's not dead, guys. She's
just not on TV, and I don't like that.
And that makes me sad. She's TV grandma. Why would you take away TV grandma from me?
But yeah, so until next time, we will see you guys October 31st. And if we don't see you, happy Halloween.
Should they watch The Thing?
Should you watch The Thing? Yeah.
Yeah, watch The Thing.
Watch The Thing.
It's pretty fun. Like, it's a pretty good mute cute. You learn some stuff about trees and cookies.
That's true.
And how fucking intrusive his brother is. Like,
yeah, God, just...
Again, it's like their families have money riding on this, so...
But yeah, watch The Thing.
Watch The Thing!
Alrighty. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.